everyone, I hope. In advance of today, I want to introduce our three judges. We have Tariq Saidi. Tariq is an NYU graduate with a master's in computer science who loves learning about new ideas in tech. With an established background in software engineering, he currently works as Amazon as a software development engineer. No stranger to hackathons and building things, Tariq will join us today to provide the product/tech experience and perspective in each of today's presentations. So Mark will be joining us, and Saliha Hussain. Saliha is a graduate researcher at Baylor Scott and White Infection Prevention Control. She's going to be our public health expert on the judges panel today. She's currently a second-year Master's of Public Health student at Baylor University, working on graduate research in infection prevention and control. She currently works on several COVID-19 research projects, including infection prevention and control in acute care settings, convalescent plasma, possible therapeutics, and more. She'll be joining us as the industry expert in assessing the success of these projects in public health. So Saliha is on the screen right now. Saliha, can you just wait? Awesome. And then our last judge for today is Laith Shukri. Laith is a senior market development manager for SVB, Silicon Valley Bank in Toronto, where his role is to build and strengthen relationships between the bank and early stage companies in Canada. Laith is particularly passionate about using his background and talents to help founders move to the next opportunity. His services include providing feedback on pitches and business models. Prior to joining SVB, Laith served as a senior analyst for Scale Up Ventures, VC and investment. Laith has seen it all, or maybe one of our competitors today will surprise him with something new. So thank you, Laith, Saliha, and Tariq for joining us. Essentially how the rundown of today's event will be is we're going to have the competitors come in. Each competitor will have a 5-minute presentation. I'll be using my screen as a timer, and once their time is up, we'll open the floor to a Q&A. The Q&A will also be 5 minutes long. So thanks everyone, and let's move on to the first competitor. So the first team that we have today is called Equalify. So Nabil, Amar, the stage is yours.
Okay. I think Amar's just getting the PowerPoint set up.
Nice.
Can you see it?
See it. So everyone should press watch stream, you'll be able to see it. Great. So give me a moment. I'm going to share my screen as well so that we have the timer.
Oh, I can't see the screen.
So if you double click on Amar, you'll be able to see his screen.
I'm not able to see it. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Give me one moment. Are you unable to see the red button that's next to Amar's name that says live?
Yeah, I just don't see anything.
Okay, give me one moment then. All right, everyone, just give me 1 second to figure this stuff out. make sure. One moment. Nabil, is it possible for you to see it now? The live stream button.
No, it looks like his I guess like profile. It just looks the same as everybody else's. I don't see a go live.
Okay, let me just see what's going on with that. Sorry for everyone. Hey Zaheen, Zaheen's not here. He just popped out.
Oh, I think I see it now.
You see it now? Awesome. Okay, perfect. So I'm just going to share my screen so that we can get the presentation started. Great. As I mentioned in the waiting room, we'll give you a 1-minute warning, and floor is yours whenever you're ready to go.
Okay, yeah. So this is our project called Equalify, and it's by myself and Amar. Amar, are you able to move it?
Or you're gonna have to control the. You guys need me to restart your timers?
We'll be covering with our qualified today. So the main problem.
Is zero blank for anyone else? Or just me?
Yeah, I can't really hear it. It keeps cutting off.
Yeah.
Okay, give me one moment. Who's speaking right now? Is Amar speaking right now?
He was speaking.
Okay, so as Nabil, you have the better connection. Could you actually share the PowerPoint and run the presentation that way? And Amar can help you out if there's anything to be said.
Okay, I'll try.
still figuring out who will be sharing the screen?
I'm trying to, but I'm not sure. I don't think it's working.
So have you used the bottom left corner, the green button? There you go. So I see that you just went live, and you're sharing your screen with us. See Nabil's screen?
Uh,
Amar, can you see
is
Nabil's?
It's still loading for me.
Okay,
Yeah, it's loading for me too.
that's loading for me as well. I just wanted to check. Nabil, I probably recommend like restarting your this stream if possible, just because it's still taking way too long to load. There you go.
oh,
When you're sharing your screen, are you sharing an application or are you sharing a screen itself?
I tried both of them, but I'm not sure what. I don't think either one really worked.
Okay, it's just taking a long time to load. That's why. Wait a moment, let me see why.
Should we share the PowerPoint with you and see if you're able to?
I already have access to the PowerPoint, so I can just do that myself. So give me one moment. All right. How we'll just do it once I start sharing it with everyone is you can just tell me when to move to the next slide. All right?
Okay. Yeah. I feel like I'll look figure out why that's happening. But now, do you see it? No, it doesn't. Sorry, just give me one moment.
Alright, so now the judge is just gonna try sharing his screen. Awesome. So Tarek has it. The floor is yours, guys. Uh, he'll actually move through the slides, and you can just tell him when to move on to the next slide. Awesome. I'm going to give the floor to you guys right now. The timer is up for 5 minutes. The second you start speaking, the timer will turn on. So, ready, set, go. Who will be kicking off the presentation? Nabil, you're muted right now.
Oh, I was saying, I can't see Amar's screen and I can't like hear what he's saying, so I'm not sure if he's able to get it.
All right, who are you hoping to see here? Because Tarek is muted. He's just he's going to be just flipping through your slides.
I think he was talking about Amar.
Okay. Amar, are you going to be presenting?
Yeah.
Okay. So can you see Tarek's live?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, so the floor is yours. You have 5 minutes. The second you start talking, I'll turn on the timer. All right?
Okay. Could you go back one slide? Okay, so hello. Today we are a qualify, and we're the team of Nabil and Amar. Could you go to the next one? These are the topics we'll be covering with our website Qualified today. Could you go to the next one? So, Equalify has determined that there are many issues plaguing the healthcare industry today. So one of the most prominent ones is half the world's population doesn't have access to accessible healthcare due to many different reasons, such as economic status, so not being able to pay, location, so being too far away, religion, culture, and gender. Like, users aren't feeling accommodated by the medical practitioners. So Equalify hopes to alleviate that. Could you go to the next slide?
Okay, so now what is Equalify and how can we help? So Equalify is pretty much an online platform that connects users with online doctors that are able to help them. So if people aren't able to go physically to a healthcare center, they're able to go online, and with the power of the internet, especially how fast and how rapidly it's growing, you're going to be able to connect with the doctor. And if, say, you don't speak English, you can connect with the doctor that speaks your certain language using our portfolio system. This is going to help reduce the ER times, as well as reducing people who aren't able to go to facilities, and it's going to let them get treatment when they need it. So next slide. So this is our quick little demo. You could go a little bit faster, but yeah, click play. So pretty much this is our homepage. There's going to be a carousel of images, and you can see our nav bar on the top. So it's going to say home, about us, contact us, register /login. And you can see like a quote. And then if you click learn more, you can go to the about us page and you can learn more about Equalify, and you can see a little bit, pretty much a little spiel about us. And then there's our mission, our vision, and our promise to our consumers. After this, you can go to the contact us page, where you can enter your full name, your email address, as well as your phone number and any message that you have for us. And then if you click submit, we're going to actually receive the image, or we're going to receive the message, and we are going to be able to interact with whoever contacted us. Next is our registration /login system. So if you want to register, you can enter your email, your name, your password, and then you can click sign up or sign in. Here, since I'm already registered, I can just click OK, and I'll be sent to the next page. So this is the welcome page. So it's going to say welcome, and then the name that I entered, and then how many updates were installed since the last time I logged in. There's also a chat feature, so I can enter my name here, and then I could say, I could just say hey, or I could say whatever I want, and then somebody else. So I'll have a demonstration of a doctor. So this person will respond saying, hey, what's up? And they'll be able to help me whenever, if I have a question or anything. And it says whether I'm connected or not. So if I were to go back, it's going to say Nabil disconnected. So along with this, we have the portfolio system that I was touching upon a little bit. However, because of our the 2-day time frame for the hackathon, we didn't have enough time to complete this. So we're hoping to complete it by around September. And then when you click log out, you're going to be redirected to the original page. And yeah, we could go on to the next slide. So sources for revenue. So because we're an online and we're a health and education application or website, we're going to be able to have a really high CPM. So that means we're going to be able to make a lot of revenue from our website through advertisements. And we also are planning on maybe having a subscription system in case we needed a little bit of extra revenue. And we can always work with other companies in clothing, and we can have a partnership where, say, an X% of the revenue goes to a certain charity. Next slide.
So the main expenses a qualifier will incur as a company are the domain name of the website itself, the doctors that we will hire in order to cater to our users, and the APIs that we'll be using, which includes the Firebase, which scales up depending on size. Could you go to the next slide?
Okay, so now key learnings and our ask. So pretty much our key learnings from this hackathon was just planning and having a backup idea. So we had a really ambitious idea, but then in the 2-day time frame, we really realized that we couldn't get everything done. So it's really important to have a backup plan in case your main plan doesn't go accordingly. And our ask, per se, is we realized that we need mentorship, and we also would like a backend developer and financial managers to help us with the company and the website in general. Next slide. So now just looking ahead going forward, I already touched upon the portfolio system. So we want to kind of add that, so it's going to be easier for someone to say what religion they are, what culture, and stuff like that, in order to connect with people who share the same race, or the same religion, or the same language. And we're planning on utilizing AI in order to make it a lot easier. And hopefully we can make a posting system or a direct message system so you can talk to these doctors directly. And with that pretty much concludes eQualify. I want to thank you guys for listening. This definitely isn't how we initially thought our presentation was going to be, but thank you guys for sticking with us and listening to our presentation. And we're open to any questions that you guys may have right now.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Amar and Nabil, for your presentation. I'm now going to open up the floor to any questions the judges might have.
I can start off. So I'm assuming you guys, both of you, coded the website together, right?
Yeah.
What was your tech stack here?
So some of the I guess pretty much how we made the website was through HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Socket.io, and we used some Bootstrap for styling and stuff like that. So that's the main, that's pretty much the foundation of the website, if that's what you're.
Yeah, basically. For your illustration and your chat, are you storing any of that data like in a database, or it's just happening in the front end?
So for right now, what we know that we kind of wanted to go with the anonymous type of feature, because we know not everyone's going to be comfortable with putting certain information out there, especially like regarding health or mental health, and then having it available for maybe someone else to utilize. So we kind of wanted it to be once you leave, it doesn't store. However, we're looking at keeping it and storing the information. It's also something that it's going to take a bit of more time. So the 2 days, it wasn't necessarily the most amount of time to get everything done, but that's definitely something that we would be looking into in the future.
All right, cool. Actually, I have one more question. At the beginning, I saw that you said religion was a reason for people not having access to healthcare. Can you explain why that's actually a reason for that?
Oh, so pretty much, I guess what we meant was, in a lot of countries that because of either your religion or your ethnicity, people are treated differently, or that's why there's the inequality. And some people aren't able to access healthcare because healthcare providers, they just don't like a certain, I guess, gender or a certain religion in this case, so they won't treat them. In our platform, we're willing to treat everyone because we believe that everyone should have the ability to get treated, and that healthcare should be free and it should be available for everybody, despite where you live or despite your religion. I hope that cleared things up a little bit.
Gotcha. Thank you.
I have a question. Sorry, I'm gonna interrupt. So just to clarify, is this a project that's aiming to go global, or are we only keeping this in the United States?
Oh, so we're from Canada, but yeah, so that's our goal would be to be going global, because I know one of the stats, I'm not sure if you guys caught it on the website, is that there's almost over 50% of the world, they don't have access to healthcare. So it's definitely something that we want not only people in America and Canada to be able to access, but people all over the world, because a lot of countries, they're worse off than Canada and America, especially like third world countries. And with the growing power of the internet, we think that we'll be able to effectively make it so that people from all over the world are able to connect on this website and get the appropriate help or the appropriate diagnosis that they deserve.
So I guess I'm just a little bit unclear on if we're connecting doctors in the US and Canada to people overseas. And if that is the case, how are we doing the billing? So a lot of healthcare is billed through insurance or third-party payers. So if I, as an American, went to Canada, probably couldn't even get care. Oh, well, that's a different story. If a Canadian came to America and tried to get care over here, it would be exorbitantly expensive. Even if they did log on to a website in Canada, they would still have to pay the US price of a provider. So how do you plan on getting around the third-party payer system or insurance in general?
So again, I think that's one of the aspects that we don't have the most experience in, which is why one of our asks was, I guess, mentorship, because we believe that we're not as experienced in this field. So that's one of the things that we're really looking into getting more people like yourself who have experience and are able to help us in regards of making the best website and making it the most ethical possible. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't have a clear answer for you right now. Yeah.
So, and another question I had was, so you talked about reducing health disparities due to location, due to race, due to ethnicity, etc. So when we talk about reducing health disparities, are we talking about, acute care, or are you? I'm sorry, I think I might have frozen. Can you guys still hear me?
Not exact. I can hear you a little bit better now.
Okay. Did my sound go off?
No, I can hear you.
Okay, I don't know. Something is happening with the screen with Omar then. But what I was saying was, so are you guys aiming to connect people for specialty medicine, for primary care, or for acute care? What are you aiming for this platform to do?
So I guess this platform is really just to help people with, it's going to be, if people have like basic symptoms, and it's pretty much kind of like if you're going into a regular health clinic and getting a checkup, because obviously with a platform like this, we can't do any like surgery or anything along those lines. So we're going to have it so it's more, you can talk to someone about whatever issues that you have, and then hopefully they can respond to you and give you whatever advice that they can. So if it's a home fix, like you can do it on your own, or if it's something more severe, then they'll be able to say, oh, you should go end up going to a healthcare center, or you should go to a hospital or something more severe in that case.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. I'm just going to close up the floor now. Thank you, Nabil and Amar, for your presentation and answering any questions the judges might have had today. Best of luck, and we'll see you on Saturday for the award ceremony.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Our next competitors are now Anam and Hannah, who are working on the project
Hello, Salam.
Walaikum salam.
And I'm
Alright.
on.
Anam and Hannah. So essentially, I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to share a timer. You guys will get 5 minutes to presentation. As soon as you start speaking, I'll start. And you are sharing a PowerPoint. Please share right now.
Awesome. Right, Anam?
Yeah, I'm sharing. One moment, please. Let me know. Wait, can you see it? Can you see the presentation? Wait.
Are you guys sharing via PowerPoint or Google Slides?
Google Slides. It should work.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
It's loading for me right now.
Just we'll give it a couple seconds and then let me know when everyone can see it.
I can see it.
Awesome.
I can't, Anam, Ella.
Oh.
Should I leave and come back maybe?
That.
Okay. I'll be back. 1 second. Okay. Okay, it's visible for me.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah. So then I guess we can start now. So.
All right, just give me 1 moment.
Mhm.
I'm just on my end to make sure everything's good. Salih, how you good?
Yes.
Awesome, great. So what I'm just gonna do now is open the floor up to you guys. The second you start talking, as I mentioned, we will set the timer.
Okay. Awesome.
I'll give you a 1 minute warning.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Anam, and here's my partner Hannah. And today we're going to present to you our project, Bit Squad. I think Hannah dropped out, but I can go over the slide until she comes back. So me and Hannah are both from Nur Liman. She's a graduating senior, and I'm going to be going into my junior year. We competed at Miss New Jersey, and we're super excited to be competing at Miss Games this year. So our problem. Over 400 million people worldwide lack essential health services. And the problem is that there's not enough doctors to go around, and the doctors that are available are either underpaid and not able to work properly, or it's too expensive for government to have them come over to their country or work. So access to healthcare is a problem many third world and disaster-stricken countries face. So our market need. Hannah just said that it kicked her out, so she'll probably be joining and she can wrap up the presentation. But in terms of market need, so third world countries' access to a regular doctor is too high. Basically, they're not able to get to there, and they're not able to perform as well as they should be. And especially in disaster relief areas is another market where the number of doctors, it's a really high speed. You need to be there as soon as possible. And it's like fast-paced diagnoses, and you really need to be careful with what you're doing, and you need to get it done fast. So that's another place for our app and website. So the solution that we proposed was VitSquad. So it's an app and a website and a web app, and it's a cheaper alternative to staffing general practitioner doctors in the area requested. Our app can currently be run on any Apple device and any web browser. And in the future, we plan on expanding to other softwares so that we can help figure out and reach more people. So in terms of cost-benefit analysis, our app would be free to download with the file, but we want to offer more local customization at a cost in terms of development fee. So the total cost is still much cheaper than having any physical staff present. So for example, if we sell 10 phones to the Pakistani government, it would be $0 for the software, but we might charge a $500 flat fee for having new diseases like malaria or typhoid fever included in our app, as you'll see in a couple minutes. So we would help them facilitate the cost of the iPhones, and then the profit that we'd be making would be on the service fee. And our main customer is governments or local nonprofits looking to aid low-income or disaster-stricken areas worldwide.
So our app, as Anam said, is mainly a web app, and this desktop project, which we'll show a demonstration in a minute, we want it to be accessible to a large group of people. So we obviously started with a desktop project because that tech stack was in our skill. However, we realized we wanted to create a mobile version as well. So this weekend we spent learning Swift and coded a mobile version of the app, where Anam right now has a screen recording of testing out a patient's vitals. So the first one is blood pressure, then heart rate, respiratory rate, body temperature. And once the user hits diagnosed, it is stored in a chart, and it can store unlimited amounts of data in a row. And with this mobile application, it's more easily accessible for everyone who is using the app to use. And as most people know, more like phones are in the hands of more people than water. So that is something that we really wanted to emphasize. So the tech stack used to build this project was a very wide one. We started off with web development basics such as HTML5, CSS3, and JavaScript, which is the backbones of our web application. And in order to make this application very responsive, we use Bootstrap, which is a CSS library. And in order to transform this onto mobile devices that we all use, we use Swift and Xcode. Anam personally worked on the Swift aspect, whereas I worked on the HTML and CSS. We both collaborated on the JavaScript. Moreover, Anam also used Adobe Photoshop to create the logo, and we wanted to collaborate on an online IDE called Glitch, where we could in real time code together and see our project come to life. And while we only had a weekend to develop this app, we have so many future goals for it. One includes accessibility. We want to implement the Google Translate API so that users all around the world can access the app and in their language, as well as we want to implement speech-to-text features to accommodate those with visual and hearing. Moreover, we want to make it scalable and use Firebase as a database and create graphs showing trends in a user's health. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for listening to our presentation, and I really hope you enjoyed it.
Also, sorry about like the weird kicking in and out. I think Discord like kicked me out and it said, "Oh snap!" like reload. So sorry for the confusion there.
Awesome, thank you so much. You guys made it just in time with like 3 seconds to spare. Love that. Now I'm going to open up the floor to the judges, and if they have any questions. Judges as well, just to keep us timely, I'm going to 5-minute timer for the questions as well. So ready whenever you are.
I can start off. Can you guys just tell me a little bit about your stack, I guess? I know you guys said they used HTML, CSS, Bootstrap. What about your backend? Was there anything written there?
Yeah, so we had JavaScript there, and since we're like fairly new to object-oriented programming, we had a lot of like if statements declared and in order to calculate like what type of issues you had there. And also we use Swift. So one really cool aspect of Swift was the web view kit, where you can use the website that you created and implement it there. So it automatically translates over into there. Anam, do you have any additional notes for that?
Yeah, so I'm trying to find out. Maybe if I have time, I'll pull it up like after I'm done talking right now. But Swift is like we use the backend kind of like we coded the facts that would like fit on the website. And in terms of backend, like the Bootstrap library offers like backend like on their servers in terms of like fitting to mobile screen. So that was kind of a big part of it. But I guess like actual backend languages was like Swift and JavaScript that we implemented.
One more question. Did you guys think about using React Native to have it be compatible for both like websites and mobile, and like just have it be an app too?
Yeah, definitely. I've heard so much about React. I'm slowly starting to learn it. Never really touched it actually, but it's like on my list of like languages to learn.
Okay. Well, thanks, guys.
All right, I have a quick question. So this is Leif. This is the one without the sort of webcam. Apologies to everyone. I've been trying to get my hands on a webcam over the past 12 weeks, and it's been out of stock everywhere. Anyway, really great presentation. No big deal that you've learned how to code over the weekend. I mean, that's just that's like par for the course basically. But absolutely amazing. That's actually very, very impressive. Could you just walk me through your business model again? Just because it seemed that you were kind of like blowing past it kind of quickly.
Yeah, so like in terms of like the business model, like we're coming at it for our audience to be like governments and nonprofit organizations. So like we want the base app to be free with the stuff that we showed you, and we would basically cost like these organizations or governments for like additional diseases that were local to the area, like malaria, typhoid, stuff that was local to that like specific region. We would cost for like, so that way we would be able to pay for like the development of the app and implementing those. Because we want it to be as accessible as possible. So for like the necessity, like those really big diseases that we included, we want those to be free, and we would just cost like if you want more diseases, because you would have to do research and stuff like that.
Okay, so the one thing that I would say here is probably government is going to have a longer sales cycle. They're a lot slower, a lot bigger, and a lot more complex than we sort of picture them to be. Too many layers, and funny enough, politics really does get in the way. So just reading through here, the second bullet point, when we were talking about $0 for software and about $500 per phone, I honestly would look into going to the different sort of nonprofits and the other sort of non-government organizations, charging them for the phone, charging them reduced amount for the phone, and just making them pay for the software.
Okay.
Just actually.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So just that.
Yeah.
Like that. Sorry. No, it's totally fine. There's just a flat subscription, flat fee for the phone. Here's the piece of hardware. This is for you guys to kind of turn on in any sort of locale. But here's the charge for the actual software to keep running, and then it just sort of goes from there. It's just a constant billing. That way, you actually have a recurring model with you. Obviously, there's not sort of any withholding of any sort of like important software like to help or service anyone there, but basically this is you charging the NGOs and sort of the other sort of organizations. Government, I really wouldn't, if you're able to, sure, but I wouldn't really focus on that.
Yeah, this actually came about when we were realizing that the main nonprofit helping the people in Beirut was like the Lebanese Red Cross, and so they like Red Cross volunteers are trained to like kind of identify certain health like and vital type things, but there's no like way for them to store it and record it. And we were thinking this would be like a perfect thing for an organization like that, and as well as other nonprofit organizations that tackle like health issues and go straight to natural disasters or other types of disasters.
Yeah, this is absolutely perfect. Red Cross being one of them. I think Red Cross's other function is that they also identify other smaller, if there's any sort of like large scale projects, I think what they do is they try to identify other smaller organizations that they could sort of coordinate with actually to sort of like complete any sort of requirements, or to kind of just service any like disaster zones or sort of large scale, I guess, relief programs. But yeah, I think this is great. Yeah, no more questions from me. I just wanted to kind of ask about the business model.
And don't hate me, but I'm going to ask a question too.
That's all right. Go ahead.
I ran a little bit over time. I'm sorry. So I just wanted to clarify what exactly the software does. So you mentioned selling it to governments or maybe possibly other organizations. I agree with Lace on the fact that the government is probably not a good idea. But when you're selling this to an organization, how do you envision the organization utilizing your software? So when you put the vitals in, what happens after that?
Yeah. Anam, if you want to screen share and show the website, I know we are low on time. So once the vitals are put in, underneath it, their vitals are stored. However, there is like what we figured out with if statements, we had it print out like if let's say your body temperature is in a certain range, it prints out like you're on the verge of pyrexia or like high fever. Please try to find a way to cool down. And then underneath it is a Google map, which allows you to show hospitals nearby in your current location. And that feature, along with like showing identifying what issue you may have at the moment, is going to be helpful for organizations in natural disaster areas to like quickly identify like a range. Let's say like there's a group of like people who are hurt who do have high fever, like that'll be more organized system for them to get the help that they need. Anam, do you have any additional notes onto that?
Yeah, so in terms of like offering nonprofits and stuff like that, like let's say there's a nonprofit that focuses on like lung disease in a specific area, we would come to them with this and we'd be like, okay, if you can like give us a metric for like any device, like whatever like the thing that they use to calculate like how heavy you're breathing, we would be able to implement that into the website so that the volunteers could put that in and then we could help them identify it more easily.
Thank you.
Thank you, and great job, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anam and Hannah, for your presentation. We look forward to seeing you at the award ceremony on Saturday.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome. So now I'll just bring in the next set of competitors. This project is called Geese, and they actually submitted a video, so we'll be streaming their video.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Hi, Akshan and Rafu. I'm just going to share my screen so we can share your video. And then from there, it feels like, so yeah, so just give me one moment. So I'm going to just share my screen so we can have the video playing, and then I'll open up the floor for judges after the video is completed. So just give me one moment, everyone. Here we go. Should share my screen. All right. So if you double click on my name, you should be able to see the live. My stream failed to start, so I'm just going to stream it again. Okay. Is everyone able to see my live? Awesome. So let me just get started.
Team Beats, and this is Rafu and Akshan. So our project, the problem was COVID-19 pandemic has greatly affected the US population above the age of 65. 80% of deaths from COVID-19 are in that demographic age range. Elderly have faced problematic isolation in their homes and have faced difficulties finding necessary medical care and attention. This has been a huge issue ever since the pandemic has started. They are at high risk and they need a lot of help and attention. Our market is, there are at least 47.8 million US citizens that are above this, are in this age range, and they are all suffering because of the COVID-19 pandemic. 75% of these citizens take prescription medications, and they take them regularly. So they face lots of these, this is the area that faces lots of difficulties in this issue, this area. And then over 80% take at least 2 prescription medications from that 75% age range. So they're facing all this constant difficulty. And our solution is Geese. And Geese is a website for those that need to support those that need the most help during the pandemic. And the idea is very simple. You just submit their details to the website, and the website will connect them with volunteers in their area to help support them, whether it's medications or personal care. The feasibility, this
I think the stream just stopped.
guys not able to see the stream anymore?
No.
Yeah, it
No,
stopped.
Rana, it just stopped.
Okay, let me figure out why it stopped. Just give me one moment. Okay.
Yeah, no problem.
Yep. Okay, just give me one moment. Let me see why it stopped. Go live again. And then I'll just go back 30 seconds so you guys can just.
Personal essential care, cost-benefit ratio also decreases. So now Rafu will talk about the tech stack flow.
So the way the web app works is that first the user enters their details through a form. So the details from that form are recorded in our database, where the response is then parsed. So this processed information is returned to the front end in the form of a marker placed on a map. So you can kind of visualize where the user needs help. So from there, verified volunteers in the area are matched with that user, and the volunteer can then execute the request of the user.
Okay, and here is our website. It can be accessed by anyone. So now Rafu will walk through a demonstration of this website.
So yeah, I'll just go through my screen right now. Okay, so all right, here's the Geese website. A little COVID-19 update. So if you click the try it button, and you can see here you have one dummy marker, and so if you press the button, you'll enter your name, so Sam J, and then the optional email address, and then here you would post what you need help with, right? So I need help getting my groceries. Please send some details. Okay, and then you would hit submit and then close. And then so if you zoom out, it would have taken your location, and yeah.
All right.
So
these are our references.
That would be the example of a volunteer being matched up with you. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much for watching our presentation. These are references, and I hope you enjoy.
Not want to watch EDM mixes. Awesome. Thank you so much. Rafu and Akshan for your presentation. I'll now open up the floor to the judges for any questions that they might have. Just as usual, I'm going to put a timer up of 5 minutes so that we are just staying timely. And the floor is yours, judges. Let me know whenever you're ready to start answering questions.
I can go first. So you talked about you demoed the website, you talked about how it works, but you didn't really say how you created it. Can you talk about what tech you use, what languages, any frameworks you used, stuff like that?
Yeah. So can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so originally we tried going with a front end, a back end portion. So the front end would be mostly HTML, CSS, and jQuery and JavaScript, and then the back end would be a Django and Python, right? To process the form. We ended up really by the end of the hackathon, we kind of ended up taking out a lot of the Django components. So so it's the majority of the website is just JavaScript and jQuery in terms of the functionality. So the map, right? We use the Open Map API, the Mapbox API, my bad, to place markers and to actually get the the map look. Yeah, the form like process the request using like as I said over here. So
Okay, so you kind of skipped the backend portion of it. Like you didn't set up any database or anything like that, right?
no.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Just to clarify that I understand the idea of your project, you guys are looking to use to make a platform that connects people that need their prescriptions picked up and delivered to them to volunteers that are willing to do this. Is that correct?
That's part of it. It's also going to be more than that. So we tried to generalize it to decentralize entire volunteer help. So that can an attempt to try to revolutionize the entire community service in terms of supporting the elderly. So they often have problems with things like going and getting groceries and things of that nature. So if we were to only focus on medications, then they have a life to live. They have all these other things to try that they need to fulfill for their life. So we try to generalize that and decentralizing community service to try to spread it out to try to scale it, make it scalable for the entire nation, and so that way we could generalize it to anything like groceries. Let's say someone needs help getting groceries, or maybe someone has a pet and they're not able to take care of it because maybe they need to rest more since they're at home more. So we try to generalize it as much as possible.
Okay. So have you looked into what is already on the market for addressing that issue with the elderly needing volunteers to come and help them with day-to-day tasks? And how is your idea novel from whatever we already have on the market?
So what exists right now for several pharmacies like Walgreens and Costco pharmacies and Walmart pharmacies is they use a company called RX, which you pay an extra amount, and then they ship items, and they usually ship it. And because of COVID, these prescription drugs have been taking longer to ship, and also there are several increases in other goods like hand sanitizers and other necessities that are essential, especially for the elderly demographic. So we try to focus on using volunteers to try to complete this task. So that way it solves the issue of paying extra and reduces the amount of time that these senior citizens would have to wait to get their most needed resources. So in that way, it's novel.
Thank you for your answer, and great job, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The questions. Great. I think that's it for Akshan and Rafu. Thank you guys so much for your presentation and your the answering the questions. We look forward to seeing you at the award ceremony on Saturday.
Thanks, guys. Good job.
Yeah, thanks for giving us this opportunity.
No worries.
You just disconnect.
Thank you.
Yeah, you just disconnect. Exactly.
Assalamu alaikum.
Welcome, son.
Thank you, Sam.
All right. So our next competitors are Diverse Health. I'm gonna bring them into the room now. Just give me a moment. Hello, Diverse Health. So please set up your presentation, and we're ready to go whenever you guys are. So I will be sharing my screen. I will be using a 5-minute timer. And when you have about a minute or 30 seconds left, just closer to the end, I'll give you a bit of a heads up. the second you guys start talking, I will turn on my timer.
Okay. So, this is Diverse Health, and our goal is to defeat health disparities in clinical research through virtual recruitment of minority research participants. Team is me, Shamli Chanabaspa. I'm a rising senior and an aspiring computer scientist. Sabrina Atik, she's a rising senior and a rising sophomore who's an aspiring neonatologist. Clinical trials, 80 to 90% of people are of European descent, with 3.1% being Black and 6.1% being. This is a serious representation problem, considering that 13.1% of the US population is Black and 16.7% is Hispanic or Latino. Medicine is not a one-size-fits-all approach, and there are many aspects where diversity impacts our clinical trials, such as adverse effects, and presentation of symptoms in minority groups. However, there are barriers to clinical trial enrollment in minorities, especially with low-income minorities who may lack awareness due to medical illiteracy, lack access to proper health care and health insurance, and have a lack of trust in the medical establishment stemming from previous decades of medical racism. The direct recruitment methods currently used can be expensive and time-consuming and can have trouble targeting low-income individuals because they typically target from within the medical system, which lower-income individuals and minorities can be locked out of.
So for our solution, we're presenting Diverse Health, a virtual platform in which we can recruit a broader base of research participants and engage minority patients remotely. They also build trusting relationships among patients, doctors, and researchers to drive a more diverse pool of recruitment. This benefits all three branches of the research space, including researchers, patients, and doctors. For doctors, they are provided with a greater variety of treatment options to patients, which can increase customer satisfaction and basically their overall business. For researchers, by incorporating a more diverse pool of research participants, they can yield more accurate results. And with this accuracy, then they can have less skewed results and less confounding variables affecting the conclusions. And for individual patients, they can sign up for whichever studies they qualify for, which can help further contribute to more minorities getting involved into the research, which can benefit them, because by getting more involved, then they can also get more treatment options that suit their needs.
So more than $1 billion is spent annually on patient recruitment for clinical research studies, and the average patient recruitment cost is around $300,000 per trial. By 2025, clinical trials are estimated to grow by 33% and reach $69.9 billion. And university researchers and drug corporations such as Pfizer, Sanofi, and Eli Lilly, and the many medical research hospitals they contract their studies out to, would be our possible clients, as they need to recruit a diverse set of patients for their studies. 30% of phase 3 clinical trials fail due to insufficient sample size, but virtual trials tend to lose fewer people due to increased accessibility. Through technology, wearables, and simple applications and connections, virtual studies can be conducted through simple technologies such as a tablet or a phone, providing access to low-income people who may not have the time to participate in a research study or may have other difficulties. Additionally, it helps us improve diversity by focusing our advertising on minority and low-income populations and providing an easily accessible study to participate in. Virtual studies can increase minority representation in clinical research following FDA standards and providing a representative population. So our cost-benefit analysis is somewhat high. It would originally cost about $35,000 to develop due to our increased features, with those costs slightly reducing, but staying high due to the need to roll out more features. Our operating costs would be high mostly due to storage and security, because we are storing sensitive medical information, so it's important to make sure that that data is secure. And our marketing costs would be the highest because we would need to reach out to hospitals, drug companies, and low-income communities, which would likely require a combination of diverse advertising initiatives such as radio and widespread advertising, and personal representatives. However, we would gain sponsors and recruitment contracts, and those recruitment contracts would be the most helpful for our business, as 300,000 is spent on the average study, so only 1 or 2 studies would be required for us to become profitable, as many clinical research studies would want to outsource the difficult act of patient recruitment.
So we actually deleted this slide, but it still showed up. But some future plans for our company included remote monitoring, telehealth, and wearables. So we were planning through remote monitoring, through this technology revolution in recent years, especially during Corona, everybody's working from home. So instead of putting a stop or putting a hold on all of these research studies, we can start some wearable devices such as Fitbit, and all of those are already in use, which can be delivered to research participants in order to conduct these studies remotely. And for telehealth, we were also planning, if we proceeded in our plans, we would also provide a database for research professionals and healthcare professionals in facilities that they could actually utilize. And in pre-screening, we were planning on, in order to make sure that all of our enrollments were actually verified and qualified for the research study, we would research their previous health conditions in order to confirm that. So it's Selva's turn, but I'm not sure if her microphone is working, but these are basically the resources that we utilized. For Google Slides, we use it to create our pitch deck. Discord, we communicated. And Glide Apps, we built our app. And through Google Sheets, we actually gathered the information and we visualized the data and we put it on the presentation. And our final destination is the app market. Once we actually develop our app, then we will provide it there on the App Store.
There's currently a simple authentication system, but we would want to increase this to protect patient data. It gives some information based on diversity level and other markers of diversity within a study, such as race and gender. Then it gives you information on current clinical trials and the research being done, as well as how diverse those studies are.
All right, so you guys are currently over time. I'll give you guys 30 more seconds before wrapping up this presentation.
Technical issues. Main features would be the enrollment tab. It's currently pretty simple, but we would want to add personal information for the studies, and then the forum, which would allow you to chat with qualified medical professionals and figure out more information on studies and current trials that could be relevant to you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. We were Diverse Health, and we're planning on bridging the minority gap in medicine.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Shamli, Salwa, and Sabrina for your presentation. I'm now just going to open up the floor to the judges if they have any questions. Just so that we're kept on time, I'm going to be putting a timer again of 5 minutes, and I'll open up the floor now.
So you guys, so when you talk about clinical trials, people don't really have like the most positive idea about them. There's probably like a stigma around them too. Do you guys have any plans to like actually convince minorities to participate in the clinical trials? Like, is there any incentives maybe?
We were talking about.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, will compensate those who participate in the clinical trials, and it is a lot easier when you are participating at home. But also for our marketing efforts, we want to have special people who can go and talk to low-income communities and really tailor our approach so that we can reach people who are distrustful of the medical system and clinical trials.
Also, you guys mentioned that you use Glide to build your app. How was the experience using that?
Okay, I'll go. Personally, I've never used Glide before. We're kind of familiar with Xcode and Swift, so this is something different, but due to time constraints, we used Glide.
Okay, thank you.
So first off, great job, guys. So I am a clinical trials researcher as my full-time job. I work in oncology at Baylor Scott and White. And one thing that I'm very impressed by is that you guys have a very good understanding of the problem, and you've done a really good job about the logic of your idea as well, very detailed cost breakdown. So I'm very impressed by your idea. I will give you guys that. Just a few questions I had for the actual interface of the app. So I noticed that on the introduction page, you can input your race, you can see studies by their phase. So I was just looking to see if maybe you guys had any idea to make it more user-friendly, because I'm just expecting that the average person who is looking to enroll in a clinical trial may not care about the diversity level, may not even know what a phase 2 versus a phase 3 study looks like. So I just wanted to hear you guys' feedback on how you were looking to make it more user-friendly, just to convince especially older patients to use this app.
Yeah, because we use Glide, we were limited to the things that we could do. But as as a future plans, I guess we would try to incorporate more, make it more user-friendly by using different softwares and stuff.
Have any ideas on how to convince older patients to use this? Just because that's the majority of patients in clinical trials, that's the majority of patients in general, just older people. So how do you guys plan on getting them to download your app?
So one thing is, in the future, we would want to make it easier to sort based on whether you were a patient or someone familiar with the medical system, like a doctor or a clinical researcher. That way, like you were saying, for people who don't understand the terminology. So we would want to make it so you could, based on your status, you could get the information that was helpful for you. And it was a lot simpler to use, and then make it more friendly for older people, because that information is readily available. There's no extra stuff that they have to filter out or figure out how to use the app, but we didn't have enough time to create those separate user profiles.
Sounds good. Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Awesome. So next we have Serenity. I'll bring Serenity in a couple minutes. Just give me a moment. Hey, Earl. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Awesome. So you're ready. We're ready whenever you are. If you want to set up your screen share and start your presentation. We have a 5-minute timer. I'm going to start the timer as soon as you start speaking, and start your presentation. And and we'll have 5 minutes from the judges.
Mm-hmm. Can I just make sure that the screen sharing is working and all?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I also
sure.
want to I just want to run my project also, because I think I have enough time for that. So let me just. All right. Actually, that's the wrong one. I'm used to this. So like, I only see 3 tabs. How do I like share the other tabs I have?
So
So
you, have,
like, it don't. Yeah.
you can't actually share a tab. You have to actually share your application or your screen. So is your presentation on PowerPoint or Google Slides?
It's on Google Slides, and then I
Awesome.
have my project. I have a project on VS Code. So.
Okay, so yeah, if you would just share the Google Chrome, and then you can just navigate through the slide through the tabs.
I think it got disconnected right now.
Okay, let me just bring it back in then. Hi, Nero.
Alright, sorry
Try that
about
again
that.
one more time. No worries.
So to share my Chrome, like for the Google Slides.
Yes.
Where do I go to do that? So I'm on screen share, and then it says either Microsoft Edge or Jupyter Notebook.
Sure,
I'm not
what you're looking at right now. So you would either, you're gonna have to, if you look at the bottom left-hand corner of Discord, you should have a video button and a screen button. So if you click the screen button, you'll be able to determine if you want to share an application or a screen.
Yeah. Okay. Can you see the Discord and or my slides now, or?
Yeah, you're sharing your entire
screen.
screen.
Can you see anything?
Yep.
Hello?
Yeah, we just see your screen.
So you can see the Chrome browser, right?
Yep.
The slides.
Mm-hmm.
And now you can see all the Visual Studio Code.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right. All right, I'll begin now. So my name is Nirol. I'm a rising sophomore. I'm a beginner at coding, and my project is called Serenity. So Serenity deals with depression. So just a few facts about depression. 32 is the median age when people get diagnosed. 17.7 million Americans experience depression. 35% of adults don't receive treatment. 50% have a second chance of a second episode. And it's the #1 cause of other disabilities in the United States, such as Parkinson's disease, etc. And all those other disabilities can also cause a lot of issues. So depression is a recurring event throughout history, and it has had major effects on everyone during World War I, World War II, Great Depression, Roaring '20s, etc. So for this hackathon, I wanted to focus on an indirect issue that is still a leading issue today. So my app uses machine learning and artificial intelligence to detect early symptoms of depression, as early symptoms of depression are very hard to notice, and the effects of them are very grueling. It can cause pain, suicide, and a lot of torture. And the chances of getting another depression episode is very high, and many people don't get treatment. So my app basically helps people self-detect if they have signs of depression and in what stage they are. So if they're in the late stage or early stage. So that way they can get treatment quicker and just be more aware. So the flow of the project. So basically this project first analyzes your typing speed, and it finds correlations in your typing, and it finds similarities in the typing to a depressed person. And then after that, it allows the user to type some words, and it'll loop through a list of commonly said words or typed words by a depressed person and find similarities between those words. And then the main bulk of the project is it's a machine learning model, and this machine learning model basically uses linear regression to find if you're in your late stage or you're in your early stage. And then there's a voice-powered chatbot which can answer any questions. So I'm just going to run my program. Can you guys all see the Visual Studio Code?
Yeah.
All right. So it's first going to ask us to type some text. Say hi, I'm Miro. It's going to really quickly give us a graph, which we'll talk about, and then it's going to ask us to type something again, just to make sure that the results are proper. It wasn't like an outlier the first time, so I'm doing well. And I'm happy. I spelled it wrong, but it doesn't really matter. So it's basically going to show us this graph. And in this graph, you can see there's 4. So the red lines are how depressed person types, and the blue points are, the black line is how you type. And there's 4 blue points, meaning that it's on 4 similarities. And here's just a graph of many words that are said by depressed people. And now let's go to our website. So here's the website. Can you guys all see it?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So the story, depression is a recurring issue in the past and even today.
Nir, I'll just wait a second. Your website is still loading on your screen. Does everyone else still see that as well?
Yeah. It's like frozen, I think.
Yeah. Nir, you might have to run it again.
Yeah, I saw it.
I see it now.
Perfect. Oh, I see it now too.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. So the story, depression is a recurring issue in the past history and even today during the coronavirus pandemic. Every year, around 5 to 7% of people get depression. And depression is genetic, and it can also be caused even if it's not hereditary. And I use Python, HTML, CSS, and Flash for backend and front end, and JavaScript and machine learning, which I learned for this hackathon. And before we try it out, if you have any questions, you can just fill out this form and send a message to me. So now let's try it out. Let's just type a paragraph. So I'm sad, I'm in pain, help me, I'm contemplating suicide. And when we submit it, it's going to lead us to another page that says we're in danger, symptoms have been found, medical care is needed, call the hotline now, etc. And just a small image on how to cope with depression. And now we have to just answer these questions really quick. So I'll just say some random numbers. 16.
Is the stream frozen for anyone else?
For me too. His stream is frozen.
Yeah.
Oh, my screen's frozen?
Just give me one moment. We'll just see why.
So I'm on the same. Can you guys see the blue background, or are you guys still on the main website?
We see, but just as a loading screen for me right now. Just give me a moment.
Okay. Ways to cope with depression. Is that what you have up on screen?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I see it.
Okay, so I see the blue screen. It just got better.
Okay, so now I just fill out all these questions, and the machine learning model will take your answers to these questions and your typing speed and what you typed here, and it'll find out if you're in a late or early stage. So I'll submit it, and it's gonna train the model, so it'll take some time. And now I'll just wait a few seconds. Can you guys tell me if you see it or not?
Frozen again for me.
Yeah, do you guys see it?
It's waiting.
Yeah. Yeah, just tell me when you guys see the website.
I see it.
All right. So it says, as of right now, you're in your introductory stage, you're not in danger or anything, but there's a probable chance etc. And now the last thing is a chatbot that can answer any questions. So I'll just type yes. And it's voice powered, so I'm not gonna say anything else. So, hello. So you guys can see on my Visual Studio Code that Google Speech Recognition picked up that we said hello. And now if I go to my chatbot, can you guys see it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so it says, we say hello and then answers back. So now let's try it again. I'll delete the file. And how many people get depression each year? Again, Google Speech Recognition picked it up. And when we go back into our chatbot, I'll open up the file. This time, it has 5 things that are said, right? We said something else, and then it responds. You guys can see all that, right?
keep you on time, so I'm just going to tell you you have about about 90 seconds left.
Okay, yeah, I'm basically done. But basically, this was my project. It basically helps self-detect depression symptoms because it's very hard to find. It's very hard to notice for everyone, and it can cause a lot of issues, pain, suicide, and many people have died because of it. And it can be genetic, and it doesn't have to be genetic to get it. Anything can happen, and it's something that there's nothing that I've ever seen that helps self-detect it before. So that's why I was inspired to make something like this. Okay, thank you. Any questions?
Awesome. Thanks, Niril. I'm just going to open up the floor for the judges now. Judges, do you guys have any questions for Niril?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Good job. Do you have any plans to actually make money off of this, or just like gonna be a free service?
Yeah. So as of right now, probably a free service. I think like since so many people suffer from depression as of right now, and many people don't have health care and they don't really get the necessary health care, I think I just want to make it a free service, launch it, and then allow people to see. And our accuracy rate, I forgot to clarify, but it's above 95%. So that's why I feel like it would be a great fit for anyone who wants to use this.
Okay, so when you say accuracy rate, you're talking about your accuracy for your model, right? For your machine learning model. So how did you train it? What data set did you use to actually like get it up to that high of an accuracy?
Yeah, so I found a data set online that basically has it has a lot of factors like age, and then like failures and other stuff like that, and just like a lot of factors. And it basically, maybe let me find the data set really quick. I think it's not that one. Basically, I use a data set and I just use linear regression. So this is the data set. It just asks sex, age, address, family size, major events, deaths, and just other stuff like that. And I trained the models for this data set.
That's pretty cool. What framework did you use? What kind of model exactly?
I use linear regression. So it was the first time I learned machine learning. I learned it for this hackathon. So I didn't want to use like KNN or some SVM or something like too advanced. So I just stuck with the basics and used linear regression.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, and of course in the future.
Oh no, it's okay. Go ahead, finish.
Yeah, so in the future, I try to implement some of the more advanced models and then just see if the accuracy rate varies and if there's any better accuracy and better models that would work for this. Yeah.
Awesome. Sorry, before Salha starts, Niril, you can actually just stop your stream now because we're done watching your presentation. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And Salha, you can go with your question.
Okay. So I was just curious about if you had any scientific backing for what the references were for your surveys that you're using over here as depression screening tools.
What was the question again? I couldn't hear too well. Sorry.
I said I was asking for if you had any references or scientific backing for the survey questions that you're using to screen for depression.
Yeah, I basically just searched up on some websites just what would just be the best to use and like what factors really affect people the most. And I found like emotional factors and stuff like that. So I just picked the ones that would work the best and use that. And I did, yeah. So yeah, but I like as a
The
solo.
reason I was asking was just a couple of the survey questions I saw on the website. One of them was asking about how many failures you experience in a week and what you would rate your sensitivity level. So I was just curious about if you came up with the questions or if you got them from another place.
No, yeah. So I just searched up like main factors cause depression, and I tried to pick out questions that would most accurately like fit that category. And of course, I was a solo hacker, and I like making the front end and all the back end took a lot of time, so I didn't want to like do many questions. I think had another teammate, I could have made a way longer survey and had it, and that way it would be more accurate. But just for now, I'm to do 5 questions.
Fine. Longer does not necessarily mean better.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Neural for your presentation, as well as judges for your questions. We look forward to seeing you on Saturday for the award ceremony.
Okay. Is that it?
That's everything. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, awesome. So I'm just going to find out where our next competitors are. And I'll pop them into the channel once they're ready to go. Awesome. So our next team is here. Our next team is MindLink. So I'm going to just bring them into the room right now. All right. Hello, Ahmed, Amr, and Hazem. So essentially, we will have a presentation of 5 minutes, and then the judges will have Q&A for 5 minutes. So please set up your presentation, and I'm ready whenever you guys are.
All right. All right, so for our presentation, we decided to create a website, HTML. It's not fully completed, but it has most of the stuff we need in order to run the simulation that we are doing, which is the pandemic simulator, the simulator for all your pandemic needs. So with this simulator, we are simulating how fast a disease or an infectious disease would spread throughout a community given certain variables such as distance between each other, probability of them getting infected based on the disease, and their location corresponding to others around them. So the website isn't fully complete, but we have a couple parts such as the homepage along with the simulation, which when we click it, gives us the jar file of the simulation. Ahmed, do you want to share that one?
Yeah. So this is the jar file, and it's in when you download it, it's going to be in a zip file, and it's not very, I guess, for like people who haven't really used computers much, it wouldn't be very I don't know, friendly kind of, but it's just a prototype, alpha kind of. So you run the code, and first thing you're gonna see is that it's going, it's ticking every 10 milliseconds. So it's simulating people walking around the city, and they're social distancing for the most part, but there are a few variables where they don't social distance, but and there's a radius around them where if one of the characters step in, they will have a chance of getting infected. Now over time you're going to see the characters on screen turn yellow, and that means they're infected, and then if you see a black square, that means one of the infected have died, and that would be a death from the COVID-19 infection. And so in this, yeah, I got it. In this presentation, in this code, we have on this side right here, we have basically we have a separation. Where in the code we took some social determinants of health, in particular neighborhood and environment, and economic standings. And so on this side we would have people who have more access to healthcare, and the population is less dense than it would be on this side of the city. And we can see that in the simulation, the infection rate is way higher just because of the density of population on this side. And in this way, we're simulating the healthcare inequality versus people who have access to it and people who wouldn't. And
time left for your presentation.
Should I take over?
Yep.
All right. So I know essentially you just see a bunch of little thingies flying around on the screen. So what we want you to see is not what it is, but what it could be. Think about controls. You know, you can tweak all of these little things. You can tweak how far apart they are from each other, the mortality rate. You know, it can open up so many different options in the future. You know, if we tweak the code, we can have allowance for other surface-borne and airborne pathogens like the flu. And overall, we put the focus into making it versatile so that it wouldn't be locked in just on COVID, because this could possibly be a temporary situation. So we wanted the simulation to be ready for the future. How much time is left? That's time.
That's time. Awesome. Thank you guys for your presentation. I'm now just going to open it up to the I have. The judges, I'm just going to reset the timer, and you guys are to go whenever. All right.
Can you guys tell me about the tech you used to actually build this?
Ahmed?
Yeah. So we used Java as the coding language for the project itself, and we used well, if you're familiar with Java, you would and coding in general, you would we used a variety of classes, and we ran it on a singular runner. What in specific would you have a question about?
What about how you build the UX for it, like the front end? I guess did you just use like Java RX? Is that what you used?
For the showing how showing it.
Yeah.
We used JFrame.
Okay. Gotcha. So like, how did you exactly determine like where each person is going in the simulation, like their pathing, for example?
So we in the code. If you give me 1 second. in the code we have a part where it's randomized, and they when they get closer to each other, they kind of, for lack of a better term, bounce off of each other, where they go into a different direction, and so the directions they spawn in different, going in different directions and in different positions, and then as they go throughout, their directions change, and that's dependent on where they are on the screen. So if they're close to someone or they're close to the edge of the screen, stuff like that.
Gotcha. Thank you.
I just wanted to pop in real quick. Interesting program here. Would love to kind of learn more as to how you've like modeled this based on, I guess, like population densities, etc. This looks like a very a more serious or like a more, I guess, real world version of, there was a video game that used to actually simulate plagues, literally called Plague Inc. Where you'd actually have all the different sort of sliders and, you know, fool around with all the different things. This looks terribly sort of close to what it is, except this, I think, takes a little bit more account as to probably population density, economic factors, etc. Could you just walk me through, like, how does this actually pull the data? It's like, where are you actually getting all this data from? Like, what does this look like? And then, who is this meant for? Because you mentioned earlier that it's a zip file. I mean, that's great for deployment. But is this sold to a government, like the Ministry of Health? Is this for non-government organizations? Is this for I don't know, virologists? Is this for? Yeah, would love to know.
All right, so I'll address all of the non-coding parts. Ahmed, you can get the coding stuff. Essentially, the focus is on versatility. So the whole point of all the sliders and stuff is to input the data that you need. So it has that little gamey part, you know, like you can make it ridiculous and, you know, just to see what would happen just for fun. That's for the average person. And then, you know, if you really do need a simulation of what would happen if, say, everybody stayed at home and did their own thing, then you could input, what do you call it? You could input the data that you would need to simulate that and get an outcome that is relevant to your use case. And then what is the other question that you had?
The question was, so who would this be aimed at? So who is the end user here? Is it just, you know, the average Joe and Jane, or is this sort of are these like government organizations, ministries of health, NGOs, etc.?
I'd say more towards government organizations, but it can also be for the average Joe.
All right. Yeah, those are my questions.
All right.
Awesome. Does anyone else have any further questions for this team? Even though we would just have about 10 seconds left. Saliha?
Oh, no, I have no questions. Thank you for your time, guys.
No worries. Thank you, Ahmed, Amir, and Hazem.
Thanks, guys. Yeah.
Have a good day. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. Awesome. So just in terms of our current live stream right now, thank you to everyone who's tuned in to watching. We have one final presentation, but we will be taking that privately as for the competitor's request. So for all the live stream viewers, thank you for joining us tonight. We're joined by Laith, Saliha, and Tariq, our judges, and we look forward to all of you joining us on Saturday for our award ceremony. Good night.